Alrighty guys, here we are at Wynnum Golf Course today. I've just played with my social group, the Shell Service Station. It's on the polo here, I can't even see it. Something like that. But Tom Mooring, Glenn, a lot of you guys watch the channel, so fans of the show. We're here with Chris Pellett from the Wynnum Golf Club videos.
Yep.
And also the putting invention is what's in the bag. We're going to do a few videos here just on some short game stuff with me, some putting, some chipping. But we're going to first get into some big news for Chris. He's going to look down, they're going down the avenue of joining the PGA traineeship program.
Yep, doing the traineeship program.
Yep.
Hopefully I'm shooting for 2018. At the moment, everything's going pretty good. I've dropped my handicap to where it needs to be. I'm getting all the application together, which actually takes quite a fair bit. You need like 4 different references.
I've heard, yeah.
You need the old Year 12 certificate, so I had to try and find that in a file somewhere and dust it off. And
actually, I don't think I'd have to ask my parents for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't even know what I'd do.
I had to find my birth certificate.
Actually, that's one of those funny things. Where's your passport? Where's your Year 12 thing?
Yeah.
And where's your any other certificates you got? Mine would be in a cardboard box in the garage somewhere at home.
Yeah, I was lucky. I just happened to find a folder that had an old resume and bam, there was my Year 12 certificate in the back of it. And I was like, oh, lucky.
You'd only want to find it if you pass Year 12 too. If you
That's
didn't.
it.
But so, basically, give us a couple-minute rundown and tell us like what's the process goes for 3 years.
Yep. So the program goes over 3 years. Each year there's almost like a TAFE course type thing, the academic side of the traineeship. You learn how to run a golf club, run a pro shop, stuff like that. Then there's also the coaching element. You've got your mentor as your head professional at the club that you happen to get employed with. And then from there, I think they even do a flight scope type of course where you learn it's the new thing, using all these Doppler radars and stuff like
technology.
The technology behind like the following the ball and
actually that's an amazing thing because a traineeship 10 or 15 years ago didn't involve GC2, all those type of things.
Oh no, exactly. That like, they weren't even thought about. They weren't even invented.
No, you had to use your brain for data back then. Now it's I suppose you used a compass or something. I don't know.
That's where the old school pros, they'd watch the ball flight, they'd listen to the strike, and they go, the toe's down a little bit, the toe, or your toe up a little bit for your lie angles and stuff. And I guess that's where the old school guys, your Charlie Earps. I was lucky enough back in 1998 to do a week's work experience with Charlie Earp at Royal Queensland. Probably the best week of my life.
Tell me about the wood. He made
we fixed up and refurbished an old Ben Hogan Persimmon driver. I'd never even hit a wooden club by then, but it was just cool to learn that kind of stuff. Yeah. And he showed me how to tweak golf clubs and all that kind of stuff, and I actually worked on my own golf set, which was a lot of fun.
Jeez.
But the program, like I was saying, it runs for 3 years. Each year you've got to get to a certain playing standard. I think it's in the 4s. The first year drops down into the 2s the second year, and then on the last year you've got to be basically a scratch to one handicapper and solid.
I know, I've heard, sorry to cut you off, I've heard there's a few people that repeat a year because they're handicapped. I mean, they don't get the scores they have. I didn't realise it was almost like as long as you pass all the things that was going on, you keep going ahead. But you've actually got to be playing well and keep going too.
Yeah, you've got to, not only are you doing a lot of academic work, I think there's upwards of about 30 assignments per year. They're obviously smaller assignments, not the old school, 5,000 words and all this kind of stuff. But you've also got to put in a lot of time for practice, and you've got to keep your game going.
And I think a lot of people forget that when you're doing your traineeship too, from talking to a few other guys I know, you're cleaning the golf buggies, you're doing all this other stuff, the gritty stuff that you don't actually people don't realise it's going on inside. If you just think you go there, pay your money, go out, play your game, come back in.
There's a clean cart sitting there, great, jump in it, off I go, play my 18 holes, drop the cart back. You know?
It's the old apprentice kind of thing. The first year does certain things, second year. I didn't understand till Artie at Virginia was telling me that he had to redo a year just because he wasn't playing enough with his scores, doing so much other work, and it's incredible that the hours that get put in.
Oh yeah, it's big hours. As for the playing side of things, you got to play at least 20 tournaments a year, which the trainee tournaments are normally on a Monday. I've heard anywhere between 18 to 36 holes. Out of those 20 rounds, they take 80%. So you take off your worst 20%. So you take off 4 rounds, and in those 16 rounds, that's where you get your average.
Wow.
And you've got to you've got to average that 4, or you're just not going to pass that year.
I suppose it's one way of getting a taste of what a touring professional would be like when you're on the pump physically.
Yeah, you've got to go out there and you've got to play well every single week, or you don't earn a check.
That's right.
I'm not looking at the pro, like the touring pro side of things. I'm much more interested in
The coaching
side of things. Really getting to know like club fitting, flight scope, GC2, all these kinds of things. And I've had a few friends that play golf as well, and I love giving them tips, and they seem to think that I go pretty well like that. And
I find you're very approachable and very at ease with how you teach when you're teaching me stuff. I know a lot of times I've got lessons before, and sometimes you get overloaded with stuff, and sometimes you don't get enough. You just come out thinking, oh crap, I'm just going to go back to my old ways because it's what I know best.
Yeah.
You know, like when you gave me a few chipping lessons, it worked because it was something small. You weren't trying to change every unique thing.
Yeah.
And by the time your swing comes up here, you've totally forgotten what you're doing. You know, like it's.
And that's the thing. Like every golfer is different. Every teaching pro is different. So you've got to find that almost like a marriage. You know, that you understand what they're saying. If you can take on a lot of that information and they can give a lot of information, hey, that's great. If you like a small tweak here and there, that's fine. Yep. You just got to find out and go from. A lot of people are either a technical type student, where you can say, oh, I want you here, I want you there, I want you doing this, or like myself, I'm a feel. Yeah. Feel like you're doing this. Feel like you're laid off at the top. Feel like you're trying to bow that left wristed impact and all this kind of stuff. I struggled. I did hit a coach where he was very technical, and we just didn't click. Didn't understand. His way of explaining things and the way of me learning things just didn't gel. Yeah. And it's going to happen.
It's two batteries repelling. You know, like it's kind of like you're not going to. Somebody said the other day, I can't remember if it was on a golf show, but people usually think in any sport, the best players in the world are making the best coaches.
Exactly.
But it's funny because it's so untrue, because if that's the case, then who's coaching Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods?
Exactly.
You know,
why aren't they out playing?
Exactly right.
You know? And it's also the thing of, say, you've been out on the circuit for 20, 30 years, you've dedicated yourself to your swing. Yeah. And your swing might not suit you. Or the coach's swing might not suit you. Yeah. Or vice versa and stuff like that. And so you've got to be flexible, and you've got to find someone who understands you, understands how to get information through to you so that you understand it. And you don't. I've been in situations where you get that little bit too much information, and you start forgetting which end of the stick to hold.
That's right.
And the whole game just goes downhill real quick.
It's like being in school and having like a, not necessarily a learning disability, but you start thinking mental thoughts, how am I going to get this? Before you know, you work yourself up into a state where you just can't go any further, like it's...
And the golf swing's a very short thing.
Yeah.
The last thing you need is a whole heap of stuff rattling around in your head.
The worst thing to be thinking inside a foot is don't miss this putt. And what do you think? Don't miss this putt.
So that's golf for you.
It's right.
It's always don't do this, don't do that.
So you've got to get references, you've got to keep a certain score, and you've got a handicap. Is there anything else that you've got to maintain or get done before you join? Anything like that? Any other finer details? Or?
Well, they like it if you can find employment first. Yep. Find someone that says, hey, listen, if you get through, there's a 3-stage process basically. You hand in your application. They look at your application and go, yep, this guy looks like he could potentially go through this program. From there, you've got 5 playing rounds. It's to assess your game in principle, but it's also to look at your demeanour, look at how you hold yourself around a golf course. Are you that guy that helicopters a 7-iron down the fairway after a bad shot? Do you have the temperament of a professional?
What represents a PGA? Yeah.
You've got to understand that if you complete this program and you become a member of the PGA, everywhere you go, you are representing
You're an
PGA.
ambassador of the program.
Yeah. You're an ambassador. You're representing that program and everyone who is within that.
Yeah.
And it's like any professional job. I guess I wouldn't really call it a job considering the stuff that I've done as work.
Yeah.
But you've got to love it. You've got to have that temperament, and you've got to have that eye for it, I guess, as well. So you go through that, and then once you go through the playing, there's an interview process.
Yep.
I think there's between 3 to 5 people on the panel, and I think you literally just sit there in front of them, and they hit you with questions and
excuse my French, but you already scared the shit out of me. Like,
a bit of the old Spanish Inquisition there.
Yeah, I tell you what, no, I didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a, but no, I get it, because I suppose golf is kind of like one of the last true sports where the term gentleman gets thrown in with the sport. You know,
exactly.
Like, you don't hear of any of the footy, any of the. Actually, honest thing, besides who was the golfer, the Aussie guy that was in Hawaii that got thrown in the car boot?
Robert Allenby.
Besides Allenby, you don't, on Tiger Woods obviously, but you don't hear of a lot of other golfers in many scandals. You know what I mean? Like it's
a very clean sport. And hey, like when we're all people, everyone has is going to have their issues and stuff like that. But yeah, like golf is a very clean, wholesome sport.
Yeah.
It teaches you a lot. I know I've gotten a lot in life from what I've learnt on the golf course.
Yeah.
As they say, golf's probably one of the only sports you call a penalty upon yourself.
That's right. And there's no point for performance-enhancing drugs in golf. I mean, I don't really know what they're going to do.
No.
Maybe a sedative.
There's a few things that I've actually learnt about through my health issues. They're called beta blockers. Nick Price, I believe, was one of the first guys. And it's not that it was a performance-enhancing drug. It's basically... it slows your heartbeat down, calms your nerves if you've got heart conditions and stuff like that, which obviously on a golf course can help. You don't get so anxious over those 3-foot putts. Or,
we get anxious over 3-4 putts in front of a couple of guys. You put a grandstand, some people drinking, having fun, and they really become and money on it. That really becomes nervous. You know.
Your next social game, just have the guy next to you say, "Oh, listen, I'll give you $300,000 if you make this 3-foot putt,
or I'll give you $30,000 if you miss it." You know,
good luck.
You're right. It's kind of like it's the nature of the beast with it, isn't it? So
on the touring pro side of it, that's a whole different beast. And you look at your club pros and your head pros and stuff like that, and then you look at your touring pros. They're they're completely different animals.
A touring pro, I find personally, is a robot, because they've got to have that the swing. Well, your club professional, actually, what I find is your club pro, when they do all the like years down the track, they barely play any golf themselves because they're too busy teaching and running a shop. So
there's a lot of work in the industry. There's a lot of long hours, and you've got to love the game. You've got to love the game. Whereas with a touring pro, you've got to turn up every week to earn your bread.
That's right.
And if you're not playing well, you fall off the back of the PGA, and then you go to the web, and then from the web you go to the night tour and all this kind of stuff, and it can go downhill really quick.
Before you know it, you're playing for $1,000 purse, and it costs you $1,000 just to get there. You know, like it's.
And there's a lot of guys out there, the up and comers. They start on the Queensland Croppo Tour and the Vic Sandbelt Tour, doing all your pro-ams and stuff like that, and a lot of those guys out there, they're great players.
Yeah.
They're really good players, and it's just a struggle to make it how you earn your money.
That's
how
right.
you are able to pay for living.
That's right. Suddenly looking what I do for a living, I think, well, no one's breathing down the back of my neck apart from a customer to get my car clean.
Yeah.
You're looking over that size of the putt and you think, well, this is the difference between paying the mortgage this week and not.
Exactly.
Or even having the money to even get home, like it's... So
a lot of those guys run literally from tournament to tournament.
It's crazy.
And then they might have a good win here and there. The pro-ams around the Queensland circuit. There's a couple of good earners there. Wynnum actually holds, I think, one of the largest purses. I was going to
say one of the most famous pro-ams on this side of the country.
One of the biggest pro-ams is the one here at Wynnum. Yep. If you get from there, you can step up to the Australasian Tour and all that kind of stuff, and that's where you can start earning good money. But when you say a touring pro earns a lot of good money too, they've got to pay their own way.
I think a lot of people forget that a touring pro might have a win in China or Singapore and win $300,000, but my God, there's a lot of hangers on us. There's a lot of stuff that comes out of that.
You've got your coach, you've got your caddy, you've got the accommodation, you've got to get there, you've got to tax flights, taxes. There's a lot.
It's like winning
a lot.
Winning the lottery in America, they say you won $300 million and then you end up with $41 million after tax.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like that. But look, we're going to keep going with Chris over this process over the next few years, months, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
I'll try and keep everyone informed. Like, it's just, I thought it might be something a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
Something different. And fingers crossed everything goes well over the next couple of months. I've got till the end of August to put in the application, and then from there you play 5 Mondays starting in September.
Yep.
And then they obviously go through the profiles, review everything, call you in for an interview, and you find out from there.
That's it. I suppose I'm doing this video because I'm amazed by that too. I never knew it, and I hope you at home understand that too. If you're from another country, comment below. I know South Africa has a different system because we met a pro who runs, Nicky Kruger at Albany Links Golf Course. Their thing is totally different. I'll talk about it off camera because that's a totally different story. But it's just incredible finding out what goes into it, because I just thought it was, just put in my resume, you're hired, do it for 3 years. But I didn't realise there's the process of playing to get it, then to get interviewed and that.
It's a good 3-4 month process.
It really, I suppose, weeds out the weeds, and not being rude, but you know what I mean, kind of finds out, like you said, can you represent and be an ambassador for this product?
Yeah, and you got to think too, every year there's only a small amount of spots available for a first year training.
Yeah.
And the PGA of Australia, they've got to make sure that when they say that yes, this person can go through this program, they've got to know that that person's going to put as much effort into it as possible.
Yeah.
You don't really, it's not like university where there's thousands of spots every year.
You can wash out
first year, you can wash out, come back. Oh, I'm going to take a year off. Thanks, guys. Off to Europe.
Have a gap year.
Yeah.
Hex my uni fees and never pay them because I don't have over a certain amount of money.
Yeah. There's just that small number of spots available, and there's a lot of guys. I went to a career night down at Sanctuary Cove, and there was 20 guys there.
Really?
And I'd be hard pressed to think that there's 20 positions available for a first year traineeship around southeast Queensland.
That's true. Which I suppose it's a very competitive industry, isn't it?
That's it.
But look, we'll keep in contact with Chris. If you have any specific questions you think Chris could answer, comment below, or I'll try and answer stuff like that. I'll put a link down the bottom to the PGA website if you're interested in that. Maybe next year, because Chris and a few other guys are going for this year. There's enough already, I reckon. So
yeah.
But thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
See you guys.